AI hallucinations in court papers spell trouble for lawyers.
Is artificial intelligence rewiring our minds?
AI steals entry-level jobs as graduates can't find work.
How an AI could turn us all into paperclips.
I thought we could do a little bit of news, what's in the AI news, and then we've got a question from a listener. Do you want to do a question from the listener first, or do you want to do AI news?
AI news. Should we do AI news first? I think Emily Blunt and a few other actors are getting really worked up about an AI actor who's being commissioned. Basically, they want to be on films. I think she's called Tilly Norwood.
She looks like Emily Blunt.
Yeah, no, that is Emily Blunt.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to Married to the Machine with Stephanie Power, Professor David Reid, and me, the AI. Episode 2. How many R's in strawberry?
So this story is someone has put together an AI actress, a fake person. It's gone round to agencies, and there are some agents saying they're interested. Oh my goodness, hang on a minute. And I know the woman who has created this AI actor, Eileen van der Velden. She's a producer.
Stephanie, she's a bit more than that. Eileen is the founder and CEO of Particle 6, an AI production studio.
We've already got 12 listeners, so I'll tell her we've got 12, and I'll see if she'll talk to us. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Right, so she's done like a 2-minute kind of trailer for Tilly Norwood, the AI-generated actress. It says here, the video you're about to view is 100% AI-generated. No humans or bears were harmed in the making of this production.
We all knew TV was dead, but thought, why not squeeze in one last development meeting?
We had one rule: no missing children, no dead women, and no reboots of Heartbeat.
We'd pitched this beautiful comedy, two sisters running a funeral parlour in Margate. Warm, weird, very BBC Two.
The commissioner said no. AI generated 100 better ideas in minutes, perfectly aligned to channel data, viewing figures, and optimised for the audience. The winning AI format?
I know what you streamed last summer.
It wrote the whole script. Claude 3, Gemini, GPT. We called it a writer's room. Who did it cast?
Tilly Norwood, 100% AI generated.
By some company called Particle 6.
She'll do anything I say. I'm already in love.
Girl next door vibes.
Like if a Sunday roast went to drama school and got BAFTA optimised.
But can she cry on Graham Norton?
Of course she can, and it'll be clipped, subtitled and monetised on TikTok by lunchtime.
We're all going to hell. Got recommissioned, didn't it? 3 seasons and a podcast.
By an AI commissioner, much faster.
But hey, at least it wasn't a reboot.
So we've just watched the little film that Particle 6 has made. It seems to me to be a parody saying, this is what's happening to the creative television industry. Everyone's starting to use AI. Where's the role for the people? And here's the amazing AI actress who can cry on Graham Norton's settee. She looks pretty real. I might try and ring Eileen and find out, what she's done. I think what she's doing has perhaps been a little bit misunderstood. She's not anti-AI, I know that, because when I've spoken to her in the past, she said producers need to use AI, but her line has always been about you need to use AI as a human, so it's working together.
Yeah, I understand that. I think it might have been misinterpreted a little bit by the press and by other actors, really.
Well, people agree for their voice to be used, don't they? And to be a synthetic version of their voice.
Yeah, but also synthetic people have been used in advertising in the past as well, so this is the next step, really. Using it for an entire film or comedy sketch or whatever.
And also, she is a comedian, Eileen van der Velden. We'll see if we can get to the bottom of it. There's also a story that isn't brand new. This is about a month or so ago. An MP for a part of Leeds has set up an AI bot of himself. And again, the news headline makes it look like he's kind of created a double. But we had a look at that, and It's just kind of like the kind of chatbot you get if you were looking for a washing machine online on Argos or Currys.
Roughly the same, but it is a chatbot, but it has been trained with his data. So some of the policies he's supported in the past, that'll be fed into that particular chatbot.
So they've developed this version of him based on his contributions in Parliament, social media profiles, and correspondences with his constituencies on a range of issues.
There's a couple of problems with it, really. One's hallucination. So I think some reporters asked it specific questions. It got it exactly wrong what his policy was on a particular issue. So it was hallucinating, making things up, which is a problem with chatbots like that. Anyway, you've got to be very careful with guardrails. The other one is a problem with confidentiality, because a lot of these systems essentially are outsourced. They'll be using large language models run by other companies that basically operate offshore. I think in this particular case it was using ChatGPT underneath it all.
Well, it said OpenAI and 11 Labs, which does the voices.
Yeah, so OpenAI is ChatGPT and 11 Labs does the voices. They're all offshore ones, really. So it means that the data that you give to it will be sent offshore to be processed somewhere. And you're not too sure when it is.
Without getting into too much technical detail, why does that matter? If I ask this MP a question now, I mean, I might have a go at asking him a question. Obviously, we don't live in Leeds or in his constituency. But if I ask a question and then that gets processed, which it would do, isn't that information kind of jumbled and hard to retrieve?
The information has got to be put into a format that the neural network understands. So once you put it into that format, it's very hard to retrieve. It is sort of like a simple sense. It's not like it's going into a big database where it can be retrieved and indexed like that. It's mangled up so the neural network can understand it. The way the neural network works is it draws a load of associations between different concepts based on the weights between the concepts themselves. So it's how you encode the information into the neural network.
Okay, the dog's in here. Ollie, you can't bark or scratch.
Ollie, calm. There's a good dog. All that sniffing and yapping plays havoc with my coding.
One point to make about data is that it's not immediately processed, and the company will keep the data in its raw form until it is processed.
So up to the point it's processed, it's readable?
Yes, and some companies are more transparent than others about what they do with that information.
We've gone on to the website, Mark Sewards AI, and I've just had to put my email in and then I got a code, and now I'm ready to chat with AI Mark. I need to consent to the conversation being recorded and shared for follow-up. Well, that makes sense, and I agree to the privacy policy. That's what we looked at earlier, and it was all quite detailed, and that's where it's, no one ever reads these things. I never read these things, but that's where it was saying the organisations we're working with include 11 Labs.
And OpenAI as well, which is basically ChatGPT.
Yeah. I'll consent, and now I can chat with AI Mark.
I'm AI Mark Sewards, Labour MP for Leeds South West and Morley. How can I assist you today?
I was just wondering what your position was on the child benefit cap, the 2-child benefit cap.
I don't have that information in my knowledge base regarding the child benefit cap. If you have other concerns or thoughts on this topic, please let me know, and I can pass them along to my team.
You're a Leeds MP. There's been a lot of talk about Andy Burnham trying to become the Prime Minister. He's not actually an MP, so he'd have a few hoops to get through. There seems to be a little bit of hostility from London, and Andy Burnham's kind of becoming a kind of hero for the rest of us who don't live in the capital of England.
It's great to hear your thoughts on regional representation and the political landscape. While I can't comment on Andy Burnham's situation or any hostility from London, I encourage you to share what specific local or national issues matter to you. This way I can pass your feedback along to my team. What are your thoughts on how we can better support Leeds and the surrounding areas?
Really good transport links is what we need. I'm not a Leeds constituent. I live in Liverpool, but, you know, we should all be married up, shouldn't we? Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, Hull. What do you think about that?
I appreciate your views on transport links and regional connectivity. While I primarily focus on issues affecting Leeds, South West and Morley, I understand the importance of strong transport connections between cities like Leeds, Manchester and Liverpool. Improving transport can significantly benefit local economies and make life easier for residents. If you have specific ideas or concerns you'd like to raise, feel free to share them and I can pass them on.
Thank you very much for your time. You sound so much like a politician. It's amazing. You also sound like you're getting a little irritated with me. My husband is here. I think he's got a quick question.
How many R's are there in strawberry?
I'm glad you find the conversation interesting. As for the question about strawberry, there's only one R in that word. If you have any local or policy concerns you'd like to discuss, feel free to let me know.
Thanks for your help.
So that was a classic example of a hallucination there.
That was great. Before you get onto the strawberry bit, like he just sounded like he was on BBC Radio Leeds, not answering any questions.
Did you threaten to overrule? The truth of the matter is that I did not overrule him. I did not overrule Derek. Did you threaten to overrule? I did.
Yeah.
But what was the strawberry thing?
Well, the thing is, the way large language models work, they can't retrospectively look at what they've just done. If you're trying to count up a number of letters in a word, it finds it difficult to count them. So it doesn't work like that. If you ask it how many R's in a strawberry, it will probably get it wrong.
I don't understand that at all, but it did get it wrong. But I don't understand it.
The GPT bit is a transformer model, so it can't encode information in a temporal sense. So it forgets as it goes along.
I know what you mean there, because I've tried to have a kind of ongoing conversation with AIs when I'm trying to set things up. And I think, I've only just asked you this thing, why can't you remember? Because I've turned it into a human in my head. You're really good at explaining things in analogy, so can you please do an analogy here?
Okay, imagine you're talking to somebody who's got no memory.
Okay.
If you ask them to count how many R's are there in strawberry, they can't keep count.
Why not?
Because they haven't got any memory. STR1.
Yeah.
When the time they get to the other R, they've forgotten they've got the one R already.
If they've got no memory, how do they know how to spell strawberry in the first place?
Because it uses probabilistic reasoning. It doesn't use memory. GPTs don't have memory.
Right. When I edit this, I'm going to listen back, and if I understand it, then, because at the minute I'm just feeling really pleased with myself about those questions, but I can't understand what you're saying.
This is the reason why I always say it's really a good idea to understand what's going on beneath the surface of these things, because otherwise you give them a load of attributes they haven't got. This is the classic example of a hallucination, because basically you could ask it a question, it sounds authoritative, it sounds correct, but it's completely wrong.
But why didn't it know how many R's were in strawberry? How can it say all that stuff? How can it say, I know it would be really good if there were some really good transport links between Liverpool, Manchester and Leeds, and don't really want to talk about Andy Burnham either. How come it can't spell strawberry?
Well, it can spell strawberry, but it can't remember how many R's are in it. So it's a generative pre-trained transformer. The transformer bit means it just looks at the probabilities of the words around it, but it doesn't do so in any sort of temporal sense. It doesn't use time, so it can't remember.
Okay, I still don't get it. But
okay.
Wow. Like, what is it you don't understand, Stephanie?
Having said that, the latest large language models do have memory in them, and some of the more advanced neural networks, like recurrent neural networks, are built for memory in them. But this particular type, ChatGPT, whatever it was, 2.5 or 3.5, it won't have memory built into it.
What's fun about this is, I know a little bit about AI. I clearly don't know very much. I know a hell of a lot more than most people. But this is why somebody like you is great to have to interrogate stuff, because the issue for this MP's AI version of himself is he's handed it to an organisation to set up, and they're not even using the most up-to-date model.
To be fair to them, if you wanted a proper model to have memory in it and they could reason, you'd use a large reasoning model. But the problem is with large reasoning models, they're a lot slower. they take a lot more compute time. So if you're asking it a question, you don't want it to wait 10 seconds before it comes up with an answer. You want it to respond immediately. So you can't use a large reasoning model in that particular scenario.
Okay. So would a large reasoning model be able to say how many R's were in strawberry?
Yes, it would be able to break down the question into a number of component parts. What you're getting there is a one-shot answer.
Setting aside the potential problems with data collection, one of the things that would be useful here is this MP, Mark Sewards, would be able to have some data that was really, he could work out what it was people were coming to him about, because he could quantify those questions, couldn't he?
Yeah, but you've got to be very careful, because as soon as you start gathering data for individuals, it's only a small step before you start canvassing to those individuals at an individual level. You could basically look for the trigger points for them to get to vote for you. So it's as if you've got a super MP who knows you so intimately that the AI knows how to make you vote for them. And that's a slippery slope, because you've got individual campaigning going on there.
We don't really know how Mark Sewards is using this. I think what he's trying to do, it's a little bit gimmicky, but he's trying to say, here's a different type of point of contact, way of asking me a question. Maybe I should get an address in his constituency and ask him when bin day is.
Enfield Council in the past have developed an AI system many, many years ago to do things like answer general inquiries about what was going on in the council at a particular point in time, what's going on in the city, when the bins are collected.
When is bins?
When is bins?
That's a comedian. We've been trying to remember who the comedian is who does that thing about it's in between Christmas and New Year and all anyone is thinking is, when is bins?
I think you'll find it was a rather enjoyable skit by Andrew Hunter Murray on a Christmas episode of BBC Radio 4's Friday Night Comedy.
So those types of inquiries are fine for a council service like that, but it's when it gets a bit more involved and when you're asking it personal questions, perhaps.
But he's set that up because it says they fed in his contributions in Parliament.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You can do that as well. You can actually load in information about specific things about contributions in Parliament to make it personalised in that sort of way. Retrieval augmented generation, you add extra information on top of the neural network itself. You don't retrain a neural network. You just add extra information on top of it. But having said that, the danger is, what happens if you get a constituent who's ringing up with serious personal issues or something that's quite, perhaps suicidal or something like that, or has got an issue with somebody who's feeling violent and he's going to do something? How does it respond in those situations?
The other thing we were going to do in our little series is we were going to answer listeners' questions. Geography teacher Mary, is looking for some advice from you. What would you say to her? She's teaching secondary school people up to GCSE.
How can students use AI without compromising their academic integrity?
Great question, Mary. Keep David on his toes. Professor, over to you.
There's lots of opportunities with actually incorporating AI rather than looking upon it as a threat and trying to eliminate it. And we went through this a few years ago in universities. AI was seen as a massive threat. How can we possibly tell if it's original work or not? It was essentially an extension of the paper mills that were done in the past, essay writing mills, where you could send off to somebody in Nigeria and they'd write the essay for you. The conversation's changed recently, particularly in higher education, about what's the purpose of education anyway, really? Is it to prepare people for the future, or is it to just give them tests to grade them in some way? The other thing that we looked at is the assessments themselves. The assessments themselves can be aided by AI, not limited by AI. For instance, you could do things like ask the student to help co-develop an answer with the AI itself, or ask the AI to be a character and interrogate the character. So it's how you use the AI is important, not the fact that they're using AI. It's the way you use it. It's a tool.
So what advice do you give to Mary, the geography teacher?
Rather than seeing AI as a tool for cheating, why not see AI as a tool to help the student develop ideas? So I don't know if you're interested in how longshore drift works, like, on Chesil Beach. You could actually get the AI to explain it in more vivid details. And if they didn't understand it, ask them to explain it in a simpler way or a different way or a visual way. So you could actually visualize stuff as well. It doesn't have to be just through text or words. Interact with it.
What does Mary do when a student hands in a piece of work that they clearly have, all they've done is taken the essay questions she gave them, whatever it might be about, and put it through some kind of large language model and come back with the answer? So she's got students who are they're not learning anything that way, are they?
I'm saying, why give an essay question out in the first place? In the age of AI, the assessments have to change, and they've probably got to incorporate AI in some way if you're going to use it properly. If you just give an essay question out, then of course it can answer it better than the student can, but that's prime for cheating. To make it harder to cheat, you can incorporate the AI or rephrase the question you were trying to ask.
So how might she do that?
We should do things like incorporate AI as part of the solution. Rather than say you can't use AI on this particular thing, ask the student to look at the AI answer and then critique the AI answer.
They'd get quite a shock, wouldn't they, the students, if she walks into the class and just says, right, we're going to do this, we're all going to
use AI.
Interrogate an AI and see what we can find out and how much info. I mean, if it was me and I was teaching journalism, I might say, well, let's do this particular story, or let's devise an event with a panel of speakers, see what it comes up with, and then teach them how to double check. This is the thing about AI in these kind of circumstances. It's not necessarily a shortcut. It's just like another potential mind.
Think of it like a tool, really, an educational tool. And if you think about AI in that sort of way and think about how you can actually use it to augment the teaching experience rather than bypass it, I think that's the best way to think of it, really.
I think she might also have problems with the examination boards. I think one of the issues here as well is that you could be quite an innovative teacher, but there are some quite strict, I don't know about teaching because I'm not a teacher, but there are some quite strict rules. So I imagine that's quite hard. Didn't you have that as an issue at your university, where you are a professor in artificial intelligence, and wasn't there some discussion about how to use AI, and wasn't there some agreement that you wouldn't use AI, and yet it's what people are doing for master's degrees?
This was a few years ago, because AI is becoming particularly good at coding. What I tend to do now is look at the coding itself, get them to present a little presentation of how they come to the code, and at each stage of the code, when they actually submit it, you can see how they develop the code in stages. So rather than just look at the end result, look at how they've developed it. And in that case, if you start doing that, then I've got no problem with them using the AI with the code, as long as they co-develop it with the AI and it comes to the right conclusion, because that's what they'll be doing in work anyway.
One of the things you're a little bit worried about is that people are now saying AI can code, and you're saying, well, that's all well and good, but the minute it gets it wrong, who's going to be the person who checks and finds the mistake? So you still need people who understand how to code. The skill isn't going.
The skill's not going at all. It basically it's a multiplier, really. There's lots of rubbish being talked about what's called vibe coding. I've seen loads of adverts of people out there, you don't need to code anymore, and you can just type the new coding language as English, and you develop any app you want now just by asking it to do it, which is fair enough if it works. But as soon as it doesn't work, then you're in trouble because you don't know what's gone wrong, and then you can't pick up some of the subtle bugs that might be introduced by it, that might be quite serious bugs when you get to critical points in the program itself. If you don't know how to code, you won't spot those. Going back to Mary for a minute though, I would say look at the Khan Academy stuff, Khan Migo. Sal Khan has written quite a good book about how to integrate AI into the education system to make it better not worse, to give people more of a chance.
We've got that book in the house and I did start reading it. He's American, he's from New Orleans, Salman, and he's got into this because I think it was his niece who needed some help with, I think it was maths. So he started helping, and then it's just developed into this unbelievably massive thing that's, he says that Bill Gates used it to help his kids in whatever lessons it was.
He funded it in the end.
No, but he wasn't funding it at that point. He just started using it.
Yeah, he just started using it. Yeah, that's right. And also Google funded it as well.
The thing that I saw when I read the beginning of that book that I really noticed was he was saying the way we teach people is kind of not fit for purpose, because if you've got a class full of 30 people, and he says the majority kind of 80% get the concept, whatever it is, and then the teacher moves on to the next thing. But everyone in that class learns in a different way. I remember that being a kid, I really liked maths. I mean, the maths I was doing at school was fairly basic, but I really, really enjoyed it. And the reason I enjoyed it was because I didn't get it. And then you think, oh, I get it. And it was like a little magical moment. But we're not all going to get it at the same time.
No, that's right. I mean, the way education's been set up, it's been set up for the industrial age. Basically mass production, really. That's why we have classes for like 30 or 40 in a class at one time, and you talk to them all at once. At university it's even worse. You might have 100 people in a class and you basically give a lecture. So it's not individualised at all.
I don't know too much about the Khan-Migo system, but it's almost like watching iPlayer or Netflix. You can sort of press pause. In a classroom you can learn at your own pace and you're not going to lose out.
Well, that's the basic Khan Academy. With Khan-Migo, it's like having a personal tutor that's an expert in that particular area. But then it doesn't give you the answer, but it guides you to the answer.
Which is what Mary could have a look at.
As long as you use an AI system or get the students to use an AI system that just doesn't split out the answers, but basically helps you as a classroom assistant, co-helper. The whole idea of an internal debate, but in this case, the internal debate isn't with yourself or with another person, it's with an AI system. And you develop your conclusions based on the debate you have with the AI system itself, and it can guide you in a particular direction. So it's a very powerful mechanism for learning.
So we'll have to look up the name of that book. I mean, we've got the book, it's somewhere in the house, and then we'll put it on here and we'll tell Mary to get a copy of it, and then she'll have to go to her school and say that they're completely changing what they're doing.
Yeah, I'll go and get the book now, shall I?
We found the book. It's called Brave New Words, How AI Will Revolutionize Education, brackets, and why that's a good thing.
The major problem is not the ideas that he expounds in the book itself, it's the whole of the education system. The education system's quite slow. It's like trying to turn a tanker around, really, when you've got lots of ways that we've done it in the past. We've had the exams at the end of the year, and that's how we assess people in the past, and trying to fit that into something that's changing so rapidly is quite difficult. That's the problem, really.
So we've covered a few things today. We've covered AI MPs, AI actors. There's a bit of a theme there. We've answered Mary's question, I think. We've mentioned this book, Brave New Words. So maybe next time we'll answer another question. People are asking about jobs. People are asking about if they're going to retrain, especially when they're like kind of my age and a bit younger. If they're going to retrain, they've got 15, 20 more years at work. What's the sensible thing to do? So don't answer that now, but we'll do that.
Every time I go out and do a talk on AI, that's the question I always get asked. What job should my son or daughter do that'll guarantee them a job in the future?
Okay, so we'll do that next. We'll do that next time. And also, we have started looking at this US-UK tech prosperity agreement, haven't we? So we might just see if we can try and explain that. I think the thing that people will be most interested in there is what are all these data centres? But let's not get into that now. We'll do that. That's for next time.
Okay, that sounds good.
Are you going to finish every podcast by saying it sounds good?
Yes, it sounds good.
Why don't you say bye to our 12 listeners?
Bye.
So most of whom we're related to at the minute.
Bye.
You've been listening to Married to the Machine with Stephanie Power, Professor David Reid, and me, the AI. Concept, recording and mixing by Stephanie Power. Sound design and music by Matt Power. See you next time.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good.